It would be no exaggeration to say that almost every family in the western Kenyan community of Kolwa has lost someone to the AIDS virus. John Osier's family is no exception. When John took a second wife in a local traditional practice of inheriting a widow, he brought the AIDS virus not only to himself, but also to his first wife and their next baby. In Kolwa, where the practice of wife inheritance is widespread, this is now a familiar story. But what's different about John is that he's spoken out publicly despite the stigma of being HIV positive. In Kenya and all over the world, people lose jobs, homes, and are rejected by families, friends, and neighbors just because they have the virus. But John decided to announce his status to the whole community.
When they heard that I am HIV positive, first they said that I was the only person with HIV AIDS because there was no one who was declared to them that he was positive. I couldn't greet people because they think that if I greet them with my hands, I will give them HIV AIDS.
Now, John, who's a retired policeman with 8 children, is the chairman of a support group for people living with HIV/AIDS run by the Kenya Red Cross. While it offers practical help and advice, HIV testing and care for the sick, the Kenya Red Cross also encourages people in the community who are HIV positive to talk openly to others about the virus, fight discrimination, and raise awareness.
There is a change, a slight change, because people begin to come out and be tested and join the group, but very few, because most of them fear that if they are tested positive, maybe their wife will leave them or their husbands will divorce them. I go to school, I tell them I'm HIV positive. You can be like me unless you take care and you are young. You will lose your life when you are young.
The Kenya Red Cross started a project to fight the spread of AIDS in Kolwa back in 1996. Educating people to overcome the stigma associated with HIV and AIDS has been one of the biggest challenges. Nobody wants to talk about AIDS, and even when a person dies of the disease, relatives are reluctant to disclose the real cause of death. Jacqueline, who's the Kenya Red Cross HIV and AIDS project coordinator, advises people confidentially, such as this woman whose identity needs to be protected because of a conflict with her family. The woman's relatives are furious that she's made her HIV positive status public and want her to remain silent. Jacqueline is a trained nurse who visits the sick, listens to problems on health and social matters, and most importantly, gives hope.
Yeah, there's hope in this community, because for people to just wake up and say they want to be tested, that's a step forward in this particular community, and that gives hope, because it seems people are ready for behavior change. And many times they have told me and I've told them that being HIV positive or being HIV negative doesn't matter. Life has to continue.
After her first husband died, Anne was inherited by a man who, unknown to her, was HIV positive. It wasn't until she became ill that she suspected something was wrong. She turned to the Kenya Red Cross for help. They accompanied her when she went to be tested. Now that it's been confirmed that she's HIV positive, no one in the community wants to assist her. She is now dependent to a large extent on the kindness of local Kenya Red Cross volunteers. Anne had to send her 2 children away to live with relatives because there's not enough support within her community to keep them at home. Discrimination against those affected by the AIDS virus reaches the next generation, and Anne worries her children will also be rejected and end up living on the streets after she dies.
Jogweng'wa to konya nikech ng'eyo gi kaka ng'ato ka ng'ato msike ni e ode. Koro mak mana ni an ema kayudo pesa ta anyalo loko gik matindo tindo gi takonyora go jogweng' to ok nyal konya nikech an chuora nengo wadgi.
The problem will continue unless people change. Let us all make it with one effort to get rid of this thing.
Attitudes in Kolwa are changing slowly, thanks to the courage of people like John, Anne, and others in the community, as well as a concentrated effort by the Kenya Red Cross. But stigma and discrimination remain a serious concern for all those affected by HIV and AIDS worldwide.